Unity in strength, you might think, is more apt for us who are mere mortals. The limitation in individual strength, stemming from our humanity, does make much sense for a theme. But what if I tell you that this very unity, regardless of who you are, is a strength much more powerful than what you might think of it as? Superheroes, who are living beings with great powers, surreal abilities, and supernatural capabilities, also often rely on this unity, usually when there seems to be a bigger threat with intentions that may affect entire populations and can alter civilizations on a cosmic level. This unity comes into play. The mighty Eternals from the Marvel Comics are the best possible example of this. When faced with major adversity beyond their means of resistance, the Eternals opt for a method that leads to the creation of one such individual that carries their collective energy and optimizes that for the greater good that the Eternals fight for. This colossal figure is none other than the Uni-Mind. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. What is the Uni-Mind? Around 500,000 years ago, a pivotal moment reshaped the destiny of the Eternals. Kronos, one of their own, achieved a remarkable feat, as he managed to isolate the very cosmic energy that empowered their race. He succeeded for the most part, but the triumph was short-lived. The procedure was unstable, and as a result, the volatile containment tube, unable to hold such immense power, shattered and exploded. The cataclysmic event transformed Kronos into a cosmic entity, but tragically, it claimed the lives of all the other Eternals. Yet death was not the end for these beings. Reborn in the mysterious activation chamber, the Eternals emerged to a stunning realization that Kronos' failed experiment had inadvertently amplified and boosted their inherent powers. With their newfound abilities, they discovered an even more profound capacity, the ability to unite their wills and intelligence into a single, formidable, and all-powerful entity. They named this collective the Uni-Mind. First introduced to the world by Jack Kirby in Eternals number 12 in 1977, stands as a powerful symbol of unity and collective might within the cosmos. The Uni-Mind was the Eternals' most outstanding ability, granted to them by the ancient Celestials. It was a truly unique phenomenon, devoid of race or gender, and a luminous manifestation of pure energy and thought. It was a testament to the combined free will and intelligence of the Eternals, and a psychic and spiritual fusion into a superior consciousness possessing divine powers. While primarily formed by Eternals, the Uni-Mind's embrace was not exclusive. Other species, even humans, and on rare occasions deviants, could safely join its radiant form, though they have to be somewhat connected to do so. In the comics, the solemn ritual of summoning the Uni-Mind typically fell to the Prime Eternal, a title determined either by lineage or through trials of combat within the Sacred Hall of Eternal Judgment, to initiate the connection and control of the entity, along with at least 3 Eternals. However, in the movies, we saw this acted out by having the Eternals, Cersei, Droog, and Makari, conducting the connection for Uni-Mind, with Cersei acting as the Prime Eternal in this case. Origins. Let's go to the very beginning to understand the creation of the Uni-Mind. In the vast ancient cosmos, a cataclysmic event loomed over countless worlds called the Emergence. This cosmic phenomenon signified the birth of a Celestial, an event so monumental that it would utterly destroy the planet which it was triggered upon. The Celestials themselves were an incredibly ancient race, and the universe's oldest beings. Along with that, their designs were often beyond mortal comprehension. They had genetically engineered another race, called the Deviants, for a crucial purpose: to ensure the unhindered development of sapient life on planets seeded with Celestials. The Deviants were meant to be the ultimate apex predators, aiming to eradicate any native beast that might threaten the burgeoning and flourishing intelligent species. However, as is often the case with grand designs, nature found a way to twist their purpose. Due to their inherently volatile biological nature, the Deviants evolved uncontrollably, becoming truly monstrous and near immortal beings who, instead of balancing the ecosystem, began to hunt and wipe out all life, regardless of its sentience. Faced with the impending doom of an emergence, the Eternals found themselves in a desperate race against time. They direly needed a way to either halt or, at the very least, delay this planet-ending cosmic birth. Right then, their brilliant inventor, Phastos, a genius within their community, tirelessly sought a game-changing solution. He observed a curious, crucial detail: that the Deviants possessed the horrifying ability to absorb an Eternal's cosmic energy. This observation sparked a revolutionary idea in Phastos' mind. He brought notice to the fact that if the Deviants could absorb Eternal energy, then surely Eternals could also absorb each other's energy. energy. With this revelatory hypothesis, Fastos headed straight to work by pouring his sophisticated intellect into a groundbreaking invention. He crafted specialized bracelets that were supposedly intricate devices designed with a singular vital function. These bracelets, when worn, would temporarily shut down an Eternal's rapid regeneration process. By doing so, they would free up the vast reservoirs of cosmic energy normally used for healing, and allow it to be channeled and shared among them. This innovative method allowed any one Eternal to absorb the collective power of their kin, hence turning immensely powerful, and hopefully powerful enough that they could contend with a celestial emergence. This unprecedented surge of cosmic might was eventually given a fitting name by its creator, the Uni-Mind. The Uni-Mind wasn't just some random power the Eternals had, it was built into them by the Celestials from the very beginning. It was like a hidden emergency switch, meant for those truly terrifying moments when everything was on the line. Its main job was to get all the Eternals, with their different ideologies and ways of thinking, to agree and work together perfectly. This would help them make really clear, big-picture decisions, avoiding terrible fights and civil wars that could tear their kind apart. There was even a subtle hint that the Unimind also acted as a kind of loyalty test. If an Eternal didn't want to join the Unimind or tried to fight against it, it might very well mean they were also resisting what the powerful Celestials wanted. It was a way to see who was truly on board with the grand plan. But as countless thousands of years went by, the Eternals started to use this incredible shared mind in their own way. They didn't just wait for emergencies, but they also began using this powerful collective thinking independently, and in a truly bold move, they eventually became brave enough to use it to question and even challenge the very beings who created them, the mighty Celestials themselves. It showed how a tool meant for control could evolve into a means of rebellion. Capabilities. When the Eternals joined to form the Unimind, a remarkable transformation took place. Golden lines and patterns lit up their bodies and outlined their forms as they gracefully floated in the air. From each Eternal, shimmering golden energy lines reached out, connecting them to the chosen recipient, the one who will wield their combined power. The recipient experiences an incredible amplification of their abilities, reaching levels that can even affect beings as immensely powerful as the Celestials, the colossal cosmic entities on the verge of birth. In one incredible instance, this power surge was so profound that it allowed the Eternals to stop the emergence of Tiamat, the Celestial, primarily because Tiamat himself joined the Unimind, lending his immense energy to give it the power needed to stop his birth. Beyond simply boosting one individual, the Unimind itself possesses tremendous psychic powers, far greater than the sum of its parts. It's like many minds becoming one, and thus creating a superconsciousness. Ancient records, like those from the Eternal Patriarch Uranos, hint at even more terrifying capabilities. The Unimind, he claimed, could assume war forms. These were incredibly dangerous incarnations far beyond their usual appearance. However, to unleash this ultimate form, the participation of 6 specific, battle-hardened Eternals, known as the Hex, is required. Despite its immense power, the Unimind isn't without its vulnerabilities. If one of the most ancient and powerful Eternal Patriarchs, and figures like Uranos, Kronos, or Oceanus join the Unimind, they can take complete control, overriding the will of all the other Eternals, no matter how many might oppose them. While the movie Eternals primarily fights the Unimind's function as a powerful booster for one individual, the comic books reveal its far wider and perhaps still undiscovered potential. For example, there was a curious incident where Eternals Makari, Thena, Cersei, and Droog temporarily became human and lost their powers at a party. When enemies unexpectedly attacked them in their weakened state, a faint Unimind subconsciously activated among them, binding all 4 and instantly reactivating their powers. There's no clear explanation in the comics for how this happened or who triggered it, but it strongly suggests that the Unimind might be able to activate on its own when it senses the Eternals are in grave danger. The movie Eternals also implied that only the team present could form the Unimind, but Fastos never explicitly mentioned whether humans could join. Given past comic book instances, it's very likely that they could. If the Eternals who chose to remain on Earth, Cersei, Fastos, and Kingo, ever reunite, they could theoretically form another Unimind, a powerful link that would undoubtedly prove invaluable to many world-ending events that the Earth seems to endure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Remarkably, Uniminds are not only powerful enough to face off against other Uniminds, but also against Celestials themselves. In a profound revelation, it's understood that Celestials are, in essence, the Uniminds of an entire planet's life forms. A Celestial is born by gradually forming a Unimind from all the life on a planet, consuming its core until the planet is utterly destroyed. We witnessed this in the movie with the emergence of the Celestial Tiamat, who was on the verge of judging Earth. However, the Eternal's Unimind was able to stop him. This incredible incredibly significant event proves that the Eternals' Uniminds are indeed capable of confronting and even defeating a Celestial's Unimind, especially since the Eternals themselves are creations of a Celestial. Furthermore, the ability to form a Unimind isn't exclusive to the Eternals. In the comic books, we've seen the deviant Gower manage to create his own Unimind by linking with other species. The possibility of seeing such a dramatic Unimind battle between Eternals and other beings, or the full revelation of Celestials as living Uniminds, remains an exciting prospect for future movies and stories in the MCU. Now, in the comics, Gower, a powerful deviant, merged with a Unimind to enhance his power. The Unimind was created from the combined will and intellect of the Eternals, and could be temporarily joined by other beings. Gower's attempt to merge with the Unimind was ultimately defeated by the Eternals, who used their combined power to destroy his body and separate his consciousness. Empowered by the Unimind, Gower demonstrated a formidable array of abilities, including the power of flight, likely from Icarus, superhuman strength on par with legendary figures, intensely controlled superhuman reflexes, and the destructive force of pyrokinesis, that is, throwing fire. Beyond physical might and elemental control, he also gained the strategic advantages of teleportation, for instant repositioning, and the ability to manipulate the very ground, causing cracks and hurling projectiles. Most spectacularly, Gower could unleash powerful laser beams from his eyes, a signature attack that nearly proved fatal to his opponents, showcasing the Unimind's capacity to grant fully devastating godlike powers. Comic book enthusiasts are well aware that the Eternals owe their existence to the enigmatic Celestials' experiments. However, the Eternals are far from the Celestials' sole creations. Numerous other projects are scattered throughout the universe, and many of these diverse species have also developed the ability to form their versions of the Unimind. For instance, the Brethren, a species originally spawned from mere bacteria, managed to coalesce into a Unimind so formidable that it could effectively challenge the powerful cosmic entity known as the Collector. Similarly, the Giantians, a civilization typically known for its peaceful nature, were driven to form their own Unimind to combat the Overmind. This Overmind was the Unimind created by the Eternals of that specific world, demonstrating the concept's prevalence across celestial-seeded planets. In a particularly striking example, the deviant Gower once assembled an all-powerful Unimind. His audacious act involved gathering 4 immensely powerful individuals from different species: Captain America representing humanity, Circe for the Eternals, Crystal for the Inhumans, and Hercules for the mighty Olympians. However, even this seemingly unbeatable Unimind eventually met its demise when the Black Knight, wielding his legendary ebony blade, managed to slice the collective entity in two. Marvel lore. In the original Marvel comics, the Unimind's function was intricately tied to the fundamental structure of Eternal society. One of its earliest and most crucial uses was to elect the Eternal Prime, the chosen leader of their kind. This was not a simple vote, but a profound melding of minds, ensuring that the chosen leader truly embodied the collective will and wisdom of the entire Eternal race. This process underscored the democratic yet spiritually unified nature of their civilization. Beyond internal matters, the Unimind also served a far more dramatic purpose. It allowed for the Eternals to judge Earth. When the immense ancient Celestials returned to evaluate humanity, the Eternals would form the Unimind to collectively assess whether Earth was worthy of continued existence. This terrifying responsibility showcased the Unimind's role as an arbiter of cosmic fate, who made decisions with a unified but sometimes cold clarity. In Neil Gaiman's 2006 Eternals series, a new depth was added to the Unimind story. It explored how, over thousands of years, the Eternals had grown deeply divided. This wasn't just about different opinions, it was due to old memories, personal grudges, and opposite ways of seeing things. Because of these deep rifts, forming the Unimind, which used to be something they could just do, became an extremely difficult and almost impossible task. It was no longer a simple routine anymore, but a huge struggle, a clear indicator of how fractured their group had become. This added a lot to their characters, making it clear that even for powerful beings like the Eternals, real unity meant overcoming their conflicts and finding ways to bridge their fundamental disagreements. In Gaiman's comic run, the immense challenge of creating the Unimind served as a strong metaphor for the bigger human struggle to find harmony and peace amongst themselves. In recent comic stories, specifically Jason Aaron's Avengers Volume 8 from 2020, the Unimind unveiled some truly mind-blowing new abilities. It wasn't just about combining thoughts anymore, it could control cosmic forces directly. It was such that the Unimind was powerful enough to shift the Earth's very axis, showing a level of control over planets that is unparalleled. It also proved it could directly mess with celestial technology, meaning that it could essentially hack or disrupt the super-advanced inventions intentions of its creators. This showed that the Unimind was much more than just a way for Eternals to agree or make judgments. It became an active, incredibly powerful force that could directly change how the universe works and completely shake up the existing order of things. It was a game changer. The Unimind got a fresh look in the 2021 MCU movie, Eternals. While still super important, its main job there was a bit different. It temporarily merged the powers to fight off the destructive birth of the celestial Tiamat, known as the Emergence. One of the biggest changes from the comic books was that the movie's Unimind could include non-Eternals. Phastos the Inventor used his advanced tech to make the link possible, and even humans like Cersei were shown joining this powerful collective. This new take on the Unimind allowed the MCU to show a broader idea of unity, one that goes beyond just race, where someone came from, or even what species they are. It emphasized the power of working together no matter your background. By including diverse beings, it acted as a metaphor for Earth's varied populations and underscored the idea that collective power and purpose can emerge from disparate elements, offering a powerful message of collaboration in the face of existential threats. This reimagining allowed the Unimind to serve as a beacon of hope, demonstrating that even those who are not eternal by birth can contribute to a shared and overwhelming force for good through unity. Marvel's hidden weapon. When it's fully formed, the Unimind's theoretical powers are astounding, pushing the very edge of what's possible in the cosmos. At its peak, this merged consciousness can alter timelines, rewrite history, change cosmic laws, and even fix massive disasters. Furthermore, the Unimind allows the Eternals to communicate with the Celestials on their level, not as supplicants or creations, but as an equivalent unified force. This capacity for direct, high-level interaction with the universe's oldest and most powerful beings grants the Eternals a powerful diplomatic and strategic advantage, therefore allowing them to parlay, persuade, or even resist their creators on an intellectual and/or existential level. Given these immense reality-bending powers, the Unimind is, in essence, a spiritual weapon of mass destruction. Its potential to reshape reality makes it one of the most formidable forces in the Marvel Universe. Even though the Unimind is incredibly powerful, it's rarely used because getting all the Eternals to perfectly agree and set aside their thoughts and feelings is extremely difficult, making it a demanding and sometimes frightening experience. Imagine trying to get thousands of immortal beings, each with countless years of memories, opinions, and stubborn beliefs, to all think as one. It's an enormous task, usually only possible when the entire planet is facing a total disaster. Secondly, forming and keeping the Unimind going is draining, both emotionally and mentally. When an Eternal merges into it, they experience every single thought, memory, and feeling of everyone else involved. This flood of psychic information can be overwhelming, putting a huge strain on their mind. Afterwards, those who participate are left feeling drained and disoriented once the link finally breaks. It's a heavy price to pay for such immense power. The sheer intensity of the shared experience is a deterrent in and of itself, making the whole act like a last resort rather than a common practice. Perhaps the biggest reason the Unimind isn't used often is because it reveals too much truth. It's not just about learning the secrets of the universe, it's about seeing into the very core of the other Eternals, and in turn, showing your own. When they join, individual identities start to blur, almost like all your private thoughts, memories, and feelings becoming open to everyone else in the Unimind. This deep loss of privacy, and the scary thought of losing who you are forever is truly terrifying for beings who've spent thousands of years building their personalities. The idea that their special self could just melt away into a big we makes them very hesitant to use it often. On a philosophical level, the Unimind tosses a huge challenge at the Eternals by making them question the very ideas of leadership, individuality, and ego, along with their purpose as living forever. If a single combined mind can make flawless decisions, then what's the point of having a leader? If everyone's thoughts were shared, what does it mean for an individual Eternal to achieve something great? And if who you are can change and blend with others, then what truly defines your eternal reason for being? These are deep, life-altering questions that truly hit home for beings who have existed for countless ages, and the Unimind forces them to face these uncomfortable truths about their existence. Despite all these huge problems and the heavy emotional toll, the Unimind remains the Eternals' ultimate secret weapon, their ace in the hole. If the Celestials ever decide to turn against Earth again, or if some other cosmic danger appears that no single Eternal can defeat, the Unimind could be their only hope for resistance. It's the only way for the Eternals to stand as equals, or even stronger, against beings of immense cosmic power. Marvelous verdict. And that's our video for today. We hope you had a great time diving deep into the incredible power of the Unimind, a major force in the Marvel Universe, wielding cosmic energies and abilities vast enough to contend with entire universes. For more than just raw power, the Unimind stands as a powerful example of the collective strength found in the unity of the Eternals. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and do share it with your friends. Please feel free to subscribe to Marvelous Videos for more such content. Until next time, take care and ciao!